All right, so the Wii U is still quite the expensive console. It's, let's face it, it's dying. It's on the way out. It's 4 years old. And even for a 4-year-old system that's not dying, it's still expensive. So we have mentioned this in passing before, but I actually wanted to make a video on it to focus on it and just kind of compare the Wii U to the state of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and just how ridiculous the pricing on this thing is. And by the way, the Wii U, in case you don't have one, in case you've been living under a rock for video game stuff, the Wii U is comparable to an Xbox 360 / PlayStation 3 as far as its specs and what it can do. Cannot play DVDs, cannot play Blu-ray, if you care. It also doesn't have Dolby Digital or DTS support or any of those fancy sound stuff. It just does linear PCM if you're an audiophile at all, which kind of stinks for me because I can't get surround sound out of it with my older surround sound system. So, we could just dump all over the Wii U, but let's just talk about the price. So, when it launched in 2012, you had the 8 GB model, which was $300. And I want to say a little bit later we got the 32 gig model. I don't think it was available immediately.
That was the black one.
Yeah, the black one is 32 gig. The white one is 8 gig.
Yeah.
And that one launched at $350, which is kind of ridiculous. That's $50, and all you're getting is you are getting 4 times the amount of space, but when the space is not even that much as it is. Like, think about it. You can get a 32 gig tablet for much less than a current Wii U. So yeah, 32 gigs, it is not even that good. Now the iPhones, you can't even get an iPhone with less than 32 gigs on it. Like a $200 iPhone is, that much, and Wii U's still above that price. So 32 gig launched at $350. Now you can get a 32 gig for $300 at retail, and it does come in with a pre-installed game. You will probably get either the Mario Maker bundle or the Mario Kart 8 bundle at this point. I think those are the only two that they're still releasing, or they still have up for sale. So let's look at the comparison here. Xbox One. How much did the Xbox One release at, Matt, when it first came out?
It was at $500.
$500. Steep. Not that bad in 2013 terms. It was definitely the more expensive option between it and the PlayStation 4, and the whole reason was that stupid Kinect that nobody wanted. So what did they do? They dropped the Kinect, so they dropped the price. Smart move. And now the PlayStation 4, I believe, is a little bit more expensive, or they're right around the same price as far as like the Xbox One S versus the PlayStation 3 Slim. I think they're both at $300 currently. But when you look at it, and actually, by the way, the Xbox One is actually all the way down to $250. I believe if you get an older model, it's $250 because you don't get the 4K Blu-ray or the HDR. So from $500 to $250 in less than 3 years, that is a 50% price drop. So imagine if the Wii U, what's half of $350? $175? Yes. So if it had dropped as much as the Xbox One, and by the way, a big reason behind them dropping the price of the Xbox One is it was lagging in sales. It wasn't doing nearly as bad as the Wii U, but Microsoft recognized, okay, system's overpriced, nobody wants to connect, drop the Kinect, drop the price, and you saw sales start to rise. That's part of the problem with the Wii U is they've, with the exception of cutting $50 off the price, they haven't really dropped it. Could you imagine? If they had dropped the Wii U to $200 after 2 years of it being out, there'd be a lot more in sales for Nintendo. And I don't understand why they didn't do that. They did it with the 3DS. The 3DS launched at $250, wasn't selling well. They dropped it by about $80, $80 or $70. It was either $170 or $180 when they dropped it. And it started selling. And especially started selling when you had the Super Mario 3D Land come out and all of the titles that people were waiting for. So I don't understand why they didn't do that with the Wii U. It's like it's almost like they didn't care about the Wii U, or they just thought, no, we need to recoup our money on it. And I can't believe that the Wii U would cost that much to develop or manufacture. But yeah. Anything I've left out?
No, you really covered everything. I mean, I think when I got my Xbox One, it was in I think 2014, I think. And I got mine without a Kinect, and it came with Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Unity bundled up. I think it was, at the time, I also think I got a deal on it, because I think it was around
Christmas.
It was around Christmas, I think. It was either November. You know what? It may have actually been in the middle of November. And it was $300 or $325.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I wasn't about to pay $500 for a brand new console, but
no.
Waited a few more years, and all my friends basically went with the Xbox One, and I was like, no, I want to play video games with friends again. So went out and got it. It was super cheap. I may have actually gotten a Wii U if it had dropped.
Yeah.
At all. But I wasn't about to pay that much, especially considering there's really not a lot of good games for the Wii U.
There's depending on your palette for games. I mean, at the in the first couple of years, they were releasing a lot on there, because that was still during the time where they were still developing games for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. And those games very easily ported to Wii U. In fact, some of the times they ran even better on the Wii U. So in that earlier time, you had the third-party support. But when you have the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One come out a year later, and the PlayStation 4 launched at $100 more than your price cut, only $100 more, but you're getting so much of a better capable console, of course you're not going to sell Wii U's. That's what everyone just started waiting for. They're like, I'm going to wait for the next PlayStation and the next Xbox. And the Wii's final years, everything after 2008, that didn't help it either. It's like they had a year where they released Donkey Kong, they released Metroid Other M. They had all these games that people were looking forward to, and once they were out, it's like the Wii didn't really produce anything that great. So people weren't looking for a repeat of that. But the price has definitely hurt it. I would say in retrospect, it's probably hurt it the most at this point.